Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm recommending you 9 books that are totally plot driven. So without any further ado, let's get into today's video. The first book that I'm recommending you today is a psychological thriller and it is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. Now in this book, we have a woman named Rachel and she always takes the commute in the train to her work from her home place to London every day. And while traveling in the train, she has this habit of looking out of the window and seeing what is happening in the neighborhood across which the train passes. And there's this particular house which Rachel keeps on observing every day. And this is generally mainly because the train moves a bit slow in that area alone. And one day, something very horrible happens at that home, and Rachel is not sure whether what she saw is real or not. And her saying about the incident will form a major part of a crime that is to be solved in this city. The main problem with Rachel is that she is not clear that what she saw is real or not. And the reason behind that is that Rachel has a very bad drinking problem. And it moves in such a way that you cannot trust who's the good person and who's the bad person until you reach like the last few pages of the book. Especially the climax of this book is very much nailed if you ask me, and if you do read this you'll definitely enjoy it. The next book I'm recommending is a DC YA retelling and it is Batman Nightwalker by Marilu. Now this is the second book in the DC Icon series. The main focus of the DC Icon series is to present the main DC characters, that is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman and Catwoman, as young adult characters. And if you ask me, after the two books have dealt it in a very good way, Batman and Wonder Woman, I didn't like Catwoman that much. I have not read Superman yet. So of all the three that I've read, this one's my most favorite, and it is mostly plot focused rather than the main characters. Now we get Bruce Wayne as a young adult, that is he's just between 17 and 18 years of age, and there's this particular incident which happens during the life of Batman or Bruce Wayne, which is told within this book. We have this Nightwalker named Madeline who's captured within Arkham Asylum, and there are multiple scenes which occur inside Arkham Asylum itself. They are so well written and they are so atmospheric. They make you feel moody while reading those chunks of the story. And the best part of this is the writing of Marilu. She writes it in such a smooth way that the story is so fast. You can just read it within a day or two. Apart from the fact that the book is a short one, it's not even 300 pages now. It is just a short book. The word count is actually high rather than normal books of this size or this page count, and I'm sure that you will be able to read this faster as the plot is so fast paced. The next thing that I'm recommending is a series, and it is an Indian series. I'm speaking about the Kalki trilogy by Kevin Missal. Now this trilogy is just an imagining of how the 10th and last avatar of Vishnu, that is Kalki, needs to come in order to save the world from going apart. And in order to find that, he has to find who the actual bad guy is, and he has to find a way to defeat this bad guy in order to make the place better and havoc free again. There are a lot of characters that have been put by Kevin Missal throughout the story. We get a lot of mythological characters from Hindu mythology that have been tied into the story in a very good way. But the main focus of these three books is just the quest in which Kalki is throughout, and what he has to do in order to find this other guy and make make the world a better place to live in. Though the books seem a bit too huge in size, you can see the books are all a bit long, but I'm sure that you'll be able to storm through them because the plot is such fast paced. And another good thing about this trilogy is that book after book the page count becomes lesser. Usually in series the page count increases as the books progress, but in this one the page count actually decreases, and it is also very well handled. Next book that I'm recommending is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. Now all the books that I've picked up in this stack are usually fast paced, but this one is not at all fast paced. It is a slow and steady moving plot if you ask me, and that is the best thing about this book, because there's a huge amount of world building that has been researched and laid out by the author, which makes the world in which the story takes place very much real. You can just visualize the world very easily. The author does such a great job in doing that. And I said that the plot is slow paced, but it is not at all boring in any sense, because there is a lot of intricate things that have been woven by the author throughout, that you will find certain things which the author said in the first chapter of the book makes sense throughout each and every chapter of the book, because she lays out certain small intricate things about characters and how this world works, how's the politics in this world. And also after speaking about all the slow plot and the great world building, another interesting thing about this book is that it is very politically driven. So if you're a person who likes politics, I'm sure that this will intrigue you a lot, because the politics is great, the world building is great. Though the plot is slow, it is so intricate and well handled. So I think you need to read this book. It will take a lot of time to read, but it'll be very much worth the time that you spend reading this one. The next book that I'm recommending is one of my most favorite books, and it is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. Now, this is the first book in the Renegades trilogy. The second one is Arch Enemies, which I have not read, and the conclusion to the trilogy is Supernova. Now, in this book, we have a world comprising of many superhumans or superheroes, just as we see in the Marvel and DC universes. But the thing about this world is that the superhumans are not people who always help the people who are in distress. There is this group of people called the Renegades, who are like the good superheroes that rule the world, form the government, and also take care of the people in a good way. Apart from them, there's also this other group of superhumans called the Anarchists, who are like the anti-heroes. They are not villains in any way. They are anti-heroes, and they are doing certain things against the Renegades because they don't think that the Renegades are just to each and every citizen in the city, and it is also right so. Now, there's this girl named Nova, who's a part of the Anarchists, and she just infiltrates the Renegades and becomes a part of the Renegades and tries to bring them down from within. But she's not able to do that because there are a lot of good things that are being done by the Renegades, and Nova understands those things. Another special thing about the two main characters, that is Nova, who's the Anarchist, and Adrian, who's the Renegade, is that Nova has this special ability that she doesn't need to sleep at all. That's her superpower, and she can make people sleep in an instant just by her physical contact if she wants to. And the superpower of Adrian is that he's like a fabricator. That is, whatever he draws, it can come to life if he wants it to. And this is like just that Shakalaka Boom Boom show, which we have seen as a child. It is very much fast paced. The book is huge, but due to the amount of superpowers that we see in different people and how they handle and explore their powers, that makes this book that much fast paced, and you will definitely end up liking this. The next book that I'm recommending is a recent read, and it is Going Postal by Terry Pratchett. Now, this is a book from the Terry Pratchett's Discworld series, which is a huge universe. Discworld is a huge universe, and it has almost 40 novels in it, and this is one of them, and it is also one of the most famous Discworld novels. The plot of this book is that there is this man called Moist Lipwig, and he's a fraud. Due to some of the fraudulent things that he has done, he's put to a trial, and instead of being executed, he is made the postmaster to this post office in the city named Ankh-Morpork. It is a reflection of some of the major cities in the real world in this Discworld universe, and it is so good. The best thing about this book is that it is immensely layered. He ties in various elements from the actual world, various stupid things that are actually going on in the real world, and makes us think by putting them out in such a satire way. If you're a person who likes to laugh out loud and also wants to think a lot from things that you read, then I definitely think that you should read Terry Pratchett's books, because they are so clever, they are so satire, and they are so witty in every sense, and the plot in this book is very much fast. The next book that I'm recommending is a science fiction classic, and it is 1984 by George Orwell. Now, in this book, George Orwell represents 1984 as the future, because 1984 was the future while this book was released. And even now I'd say that this book is very much futuristic in nature, because there are a lot of things which are not as said in this book. Some things are good, some things are not good at all, but the idea of this book is that there is this one person called the Big Brother, and everything in the world is under him, like the government, the people, everyone has to follow the rules that are put forth by the Big Brother. And there is this huge purge of the military over the people, because the people have used everything in excess, and they've just exploited the earth as a whole. It is such a, how to say, it is such a horrible future, if you ask me. But the idea of this book is so genius, and if you're a person who is trying to experiment with books, then I'd highly suggest you to read this. It is not at all an easy read in any way, because it is so tough to read. It is so tough to comprehend at times. I had to read certain lines in this book 2 or 3 times in order to get an idea of what he was trying to say, not even what he was actually trying to say as a whole. I was able to understand only parts of it. If you're a person who's willing to, how to say, experiment with your reading, then you have to read this one. It is slow paced, but it is very good, and the plot is so strong in this one also. The next book that I'm recommending is a thriller, and it is by one of the best thriller authors, and I'm speaking about Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. Now, in this book, we have this detective named Robert Langdon, and he gets this very unusual and rare case which he has to solve within the next 24 hours in order to save the entire of Vatican City and Rome from explosion. And he has written it in such a great way, if you ask me. It starts out from some other part of the world, and it takes place completely within Rome and Vatican City alone. The amount of Christian lore that has been explored within this book in the best way is so great, and also he ties in science and religion in such a great way while presenting us with a really good thriller. It was so good. It is over 600 pages long, but the entire things that have been discussed within this book, they all take place within a single day. It is so masterful. And also, the only bad thing which I experienced with this book is this cover of Tom Hanks on it, because though I like Tom Hanks movies and stuff, I don't want to have him on a book cover. So if you're planning to buy one of the copies for this book, please don't buy this cover, because it is not so good. But the quality of the book is good. I don't want this cover. The last book that I'm recommending today is a YA contemporary, and it is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. The first 4 letters, as per the title of the book, together just say THUG, thug, okay? And this is such a good book, guys, and I'll explain you the plot and what's going to happen in just a few lines. There's this girl named Star who's African American, and she's living in this African American settlement in America. And one day she goes to a party. She meets her old friend Khalil there, and there's this police raid which comes to the party due to some reasons, and all the kids from there just escape. And Khalil and Star also escape from there, and they escape in Khalil's car. The police just follow them, and for no reason at all, they just block Khalil and Star, and they ask them to come out. And while coming out, for some reason which the policeman made up in his own mind, he just shoots Khalil, and Khalil dies there. And there are a lot of things which happen after Khalil dies in Star's life, because she's the only person who saw, except the policeman, what actually happened in the site, rather than things that are being sought out in the media. There's this huge thing that has been discussed about racism in this book, and it has been done in the most original way, if you ask me. Everyone needs to read this book, especially during this time. If you want to know what kind of problem is actually going on in the world, then you have to read this one for sure. The plot is also so strong, and that story of a girl that is Star, that's the main focus in this book. That's all for today, and if you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.